Outplayed us. They played really well. To me, they had the eye of the tiger. They were just ready. They were ready to roll. They were ready to go. Had a good game plan coming in, and beat us at the line of scrimmage. You talk about the way the game goes. It boils down to they had 246 yards rushing. We had 62 yards rushing. So they won the line of scrimmage for sure. We missed 28 tackles on the day, and 42 times we can get a hat on hat. So there's a lot to be said for the way that they earned everything they got. Though I thought their guys played really well. So that's, with that being said, giving them credit, what I'm fixing to say is not to discredit the way they played. Don't feel like we play is horrible. Terrible, worst performance we've had in a long time, and you can't just go that one day. I really think things I'm fixing to say goes back to how we played all year. I don't feel like we've played well yet, and that starts with me. I think it's a sense of urgency which brings the energy and passion of the way you got to play this game. This game's got to be played one way to be successful. So kind of think like we're kind of the fattened calf. We're living off of yesteryear's laurels and the success of the past of what we had, and we just think we're just going to show up. We're just going to go show up, and the other team's going to roll over and play dead. And there's problems when you play that way. You look at it. I think we listen to media, we listen to our fans, we listen to everybody talk about OVC not being that good, and how good we are, and all those things. When you look at the last 5 years, we've won a lot of games around here, one-score games, and played our butts off to win them. And difference the way we play, and don't feel like we got that hunger right now. I think Austin Peay played with that hunger on Saturday. I think we did not. You can go, we've tried to play through some of it in game 17-7 going into halftime, and about a 7-8 minute period right there before half to the first two drives of the second half of the third quarter is a 28-0 run they went on. If we go in 17, we drop the ball, then we throw two interceptions and they score. It's 31-7 instead of 17-14, 17-10 at half, and you come out and they run 4 plays offensively, and it's 45-7. The only thing I'm proud of the day is, we didn't give up. We kept fighting. So if you want to build on something, that's the thing to build on. And the will to win is still there. We didn't give up in the fourth quarter. We fought. But there's a lot of things got to be fixed, and we're going to shake things up this week. And I started for me. I got to have more of a sense of urgency about getting ready and get that heart of a Gamecock of what's won so many games around here is just a fighter's mentality. And there's a look in the eye that comes with it, and the way you play the game and how you're passionate, have energy about everything you're doing. Right now, we're just not doing that. We're a bunch of individuals running around out there just, doing our little bitty old part, and I don't know how much that means, as far as the level of play. But, we got to correct some things. People say, hey, what's this on the road thing? I don't think it's just an on the road thing. I don't really think we started fast or played well yet. Eastern Washington, we're down 28 to nothing, 28-7. The first quarter, we didn't play well in the first quarter of that game. So it's about a sense of urgency about ready to play. So we're going to do a lot of things in practice. It will be different this week. So if practice format will be changed, and you got to win the line of scrimmage to give yourself a chance. We're not doing that. You're not going to win many football games, not win the line of scrimmage and turn the ball over and giving up explosive plays. We're giving up way too many explosive plays defensively, which means we're not winning at the line of scrimmage. We're not tackling very well, and we're giving up too many tackles for losses, negative yardage offensively. So they tacked us where we're not good at up front, in the middle, and we got to get better O-line wise, and that's a fact. But everybody's got to get better. So like I said, we got to have more of a sense of urgency, and I feel like it starts with me. So we're going to work really hard at correcting it, and moving on to this week. We see it don't get any easier. I feel like we're probably fixing to play as talented a team as we've played all year, and people will go, they'll roll their eyes at me because I'll tell folks sometimes, hey, Austin Peay, they should have been 4-0 coming in the game, and they probably overlooked ETSU and was looking to us and got beat in the fourth quarter. And they took, Central Ark probably move up this week. They're a top 15 team, and they were up on them fourth quarter. But this is the best 1-4 football team in the country we played Tennessee State. And I'm not sure they're not more talented than anybody we played. And I mean that. And a lot of people roll their eyes at that. But they're explosive offensively. They got receivers. They got running backs. They're big up front, O-line, D-line. So we got our work cut out for us. They were hanging there with Middle Tennessee. That game was 31-26, 5 minutes left to go. Early in that game, they should have been up 21-3. So they're having some problems scoring in the red zone. That was what the Achilles heel was. The game with EKU was a lot closer than what it looked on paper. You go back and look at the game's really close way to the end of the game. That was a 31-26 game. So it was a one-score game in that game. So they very easily could be 4-1. They're a good football team, as always. So we got to get about ready to play.
Could you add to what Coach Ross was saying about kind of the approach and the sense of urgency that he's mentioning?
Like you said, we got so many people that's living on last year or freshman year 2015 team. We haven't made a name for ourselves, so we got to make a name for ourselves first. And we just got to, like Coach said, we got to win on both sides of the ball at the line. It's bad when we only have 65 yards rushing, and we too talented of a team to have that. So we just got to approach better. We can't look at records and determine how good somebody is, how bad somebody is. We just got to go up that line and play Jacksonville State football, and that's our problem. We're not doing that. We just focusing on yesterday and last year and all that. So we just got to attack each day and get better.
Coach Cross, you're mentioning changing the format of practice. Did you have anything in particular in mind?
We'll be very physical this week in practice for sure. So it'll go back to that mentality, and until we win the line of scrimmage. As the way we built this program, and we're going to get back to the way we built it.
All right, guys. He's changing practice. What do you think right now when he says it's going to be physical this week?
I'm fine with it. I played basketball in high school. I played in the post, so I like the physicality. I was 6'4" in high school playing basketball, so it wasn't easy. So, I play receiver, big body. Gotta get ready for it, really. I don't really care.
Well, for me, I play defense, so the whole game is physical. I think it'll help us a lot because we had 28 missed tackles, like you said, on Saturday, and I think just changing the physicality of practice will help us whenever we get to the game this Saturday.
Coach Cross, can you offer an update on Marlon Bridges and Trey?
I think Marlon will be back rolling this week. He went at it probably a series, and I don't know if we should have played him at series or not. He had not practiced all week, and he went out there and tried to go, and it was bothering him a little bit, and he was pretty good while he was playing, but we pulled him. So I think he'll be back this week. Trey won't know. He's getting an MRI today. We're just praying for the best, and I don't know what that'll look like, but we won't know that tomorrow.
Josh, I'm sorry. You set a touchdown record on Saturday, but I imagine it's pretty hard to enjoy it when you've got a game that turns out like it does. Can you talk a little bit about the record and kind of the circumstances it came in?
We got destroyed, so it wasn't no fun. We went out there and got manslaughtered. Like, we had 7 points in the first half as an offense. That just wasn't acceptable for us. I feel like our offense should average at least 30 points a game because we had so much talent. So I couldn't even enjoy it, really. It's a nice accolade to have, but it ain't no fun when you lose as a team because it's still a team sport.
Could you talk about some of the things that allowed you to set that record, especially like the relationship with you and Coop and some things like that?
Really just what are you doing to outpass every other receiver in the nation? Because everybody wake up early, everybody work out, everybody practice, but what are you doing like extra work-wise? I go to yoga, work on my flexibility with my hips. I'm always in a Tafari's class doing the extra workout, or it's all you gotta do something just to be great. You just can't be average. So, and that's how I attack the day every day. How am I gonna get better on what aspects of life in class? By going to tutoring, just whatever I can, just get better, watch a film, and that's how it clicked out there on the field.
Who recommended yoga?
Coach Gross and Coach Lemon. They both last year, man. It's a big difference too. My hips was really bad, so I started telling them I used to go to yoga, and then they started making me go. And so I just do that every now and then. Or I work with Coach Gavin and Izzy in the weight room. They do give me different type of hip exercises, and it's actually showing. I came a long way. So.
Marshall got his first start Saturday. Can you just talk about his progression, getting to that point, and what you saw that?
I mean, he's a local guy that we recruited and, got him here, and we're glad we got him here. He plays football the way we want a Gamecock to play football. He's physical, he's fast, he gets out there, and he's reckless in the way he plays. I mean, that's why he's moved up the ladder, and he's, gotten on the field and played. And we seen that last year with him as a freshman, and like I said, just, I think he's going to have a great career here in the way he plays. He plays on about every special teams, and, he gets after it when he's on the field. But, knowledgeable football player, and that part of his game is growing as well. And, probably would have been on the field a little quicker if it been a little bit better with that. But I see him getting better with that. He's just got a nose for the football, and, schematically he's learning our scheme, and that's helping him a lot. But he has no problem. He's got a high motor and plays the game physical.
You were an advocate for that 4-game rule last year. Now you're year 2 in that. Is Marshall a good example of what?
Great example of that, and a kid can play 4 games, and you determine at that time where he's at team-wise and how many snaps he's playing. Does he need the red shirt? Do we need to hold it, or does he know where to go and play? So it pays off. I mean, it really does. I mean, that's going to help as it goes along. Now, I know some kids around the country are using it for, different reasons, which I don't agree with. I don't think they made the rule for that, and I don't think they made the rule for you to quit on your team. I don't mean to get into that. Talking about Marshall, that's a deal where, I have reservations about a guy that just quits on the team middle of the year because of a 4-game deal. But he's a prime example of why the rule's created. It's player development. Let a player develop and decide if he needs to play that year for that team first, and then for him next. And he's a good example of that. And we had a hard time last year. I mean, he was playing on some special teams, got to play in some games, and he just wasn't going to get enough snaps to burn a redshirt year. So it's a smart thing to do, and that means we got him for 4 after that. So it's a great rule, when it's used the right way.
Marshall, how much did getting the red shirt last year help your development for this year? And then he used the word reckless. How would you describe your mental approach to the game?
The thing about last year is I came in and I wasn't mentally prepared to play at the college level. So getting my 4 games, getting the year under my belt, the extra year, it just helped me to be able to play this year and come out and do the things I'm doing now and help the team. That's all that I want to do is just help the team. When you talk about being reckless, it's just flying to the ball. The thing about defense, you're trying to get 11 hats to the ball every time it's snapped. So I'm trying to do my part in getting to the ball so everybody else can get the statistics like we want to.
John, in terms of personnel going into Saturday's game, how many personnel changes could we see?
I don't know how many personnel changes you'll see that'll come off of, who's ready to play and who's not. But, I mean, I think we're playing a lot of guys. Probably, it's a deal where you just developing the young guys you got. I mean, we're young up front, and that's part of the problem. But those guys have got to grow up, and they got to get better. And I think we were taking steps forward, offensively, offensive line-wise, and probably took a step backwards on Saturday, So we got to, it's got to be competition there, so you can't tell how that competition is going to end up at the end of the week, and if some more guys are going to play. But guys defensively, I think we're playing a lot of guys, and we got to continue that. And there's got to be a hunger there to want to start on Saturday, and how many snaps you get, and the more snaps you're getting is due to production. So I think there'll be a competition level there.
You mentioned hunger. Where can you pinpoint where the hunger has been lost?
Well, I mean, I can go back to me. I mean, it's just I use the fat and calf, reference. There's a reason why they make movies about that stuff, right? I mean, that stuff's real. That stuff's real stuff. They may make fictional Rocky movies about it, but Eye of the Tiger is a real thing. I mean, I call it the heart of a Gamecock. There's got to be there can be a fight to you to play this game. This is a very physical game, and you got to have that fighter's mentality. And I think over a period of time, when you sit there and listen to people tell you how good you are, and you win so many games, and we've won a lot of games, you just get used to that old pat me on the back, and we're pretty good, and you kind of take it for granted that, I say it all the time, everybody has got good football players. Everybody is well coached. The difference is that hunger. You know, if you're going to play with that sense of urgency, that energy that you got to create. Now, if I had all the answers to that, I'd probably already bottled that stuff and wouldn't be sitting here. You know, I mean, every team in the country is looking for that thing. You know, look at the Power 5 level. I mean, you get your 5 to 7 programs. It's just better than everybody because they got better players, and you got the rest of the country. Look at the upsets that happen from week to week. Every team tries, and even the ones that are, you know, that 5 or 7, they look for that. They got a chance to get upset. You look to, as a team, to answer that every week. And I've gotten to where I believe that we're having a hard time answering that, you know, and it's not just one thing. You can't point it to, it's just this, or it's not the gorilla sitting in the room, you know. It's not easy to point out, or everybody have the answer, right? It's all the little bitty things that add up to that, and it goes back to that sense of urgency and that passion, and to have that sense of urgency. And some people have that naturally. Some people you got to. Every team has got to cultivate that somehow. But the product we're all responsible for, and ultimately I'm the head of that. So I mean, I got to do a better job of cultivating that, you know, during the week. So we got to change. We got to shake this thing off, and we got to get back to basic stuff and drawing attention to every little bitty thing. And these guys already know it's going to be a lot different this week for sure, because, you know, we got pretty comfortable. Talking about the fat and calf, I mean, after we hadn't played that well, played terrible at, you know, Southeastern Louisiana, got beat by a good football team, played terrible, come back home and you play just okay against Chattanooga. You don't play good against Eastern Washington first quarter. They should have blown us out, 28-7. We find a way to win that game, and then we go back to feeling pretty good about ourselves, right? And so like I said, we've not played well yet. And I take that as a slap in the face. I take that as I'm not doing a very good job. You know, we got to answer, you know, that bell and play better, because it's how you play every week. Like this team we play this week, they're really good. If we don't play at a high level, and how many times you heard me say, if you don't play your A game in OVC, you got a chance to get beat. We didn't play an A game. We probably played a C game, C minus probably, and we got our tails kicked Saturday. You know, so if you don't play A game, and I really feel like as hungry as they were and the energy they played with, we could have played an A game, and that game's going to be a touchdown game. That game would have been a touchdown, 2-score game in the fourth quarter if we'd have played an A game. We play a C-minus game, you look what happens.
You mentioned getting more physical at practice. Was that based off Saturday's result, or is that something you think about even doing before that?
Well, I mean, I tell them like this all the time. And probably shouldn't never quit doing it. You know, you win a lot of scrimmage, you just have confidence in kind of the way you're going to play. Well, I don't have confidence in the way we're going to play. You know, when you give up 246 yards rushing, and you rush the ball for 62 yards, you got problems up front. You know, you're just not physical enough. This is not a soft game. It's not for soft people. You know, and it's for physically tough people. And if you want to be subpar or mediocre, don't be physical. And that's kind of where we are right now. We're subpar, and I don't know how much of that to relate to youth, okay? And this youth has not been taught the way I expect a Gamecock to play, you know, so I got to do a better job of teaching them that, and we got to get it out of them. You know, and we've had some injuries up front. I'm not an excuse maker, you know that. You know, we've lost 2 offensive linemen, you know, one for the year, one we'll get back later on. I mean, so we're young there, but that's no excuse. I mean, the guys that you put on the field, there's a certain level of physicality they got to play with. That's the reason everybody don't play this game. Everybody don't play football. It isn't for everybody. You know, it weeds out the weak really quick, and like I said, we got to get better at that.
In terms of practice last week, sometimes whenever teams lose a game, coaches will say, well, it was a tough week of practice, not a good week. Sometimes they'll say it was a good week, just kind of came out flat. What was it for you guys?
We had a bad Thursday, I think, offensively. It's hard to say. You know, I think I go back to the Eastern Washington win. I knew we had the same problems up front as we got now, but it gave me a little confidence in, okay, we're going to be okay. This young bunch has grew up. You know, we're going to be all right. We're progressing. We played okay against UNA. So then you go get hit in the mouth and you realize, what I thought was true is not true. You know, so all I'm in control is fixing what I can fix, and we're gonna fix it, you know, to the best of our ability. So we're gonna fight anyway. You know, we're gonna put 11 out there. Anytime the ball snaps, gonna fight in the way we expect a Gamecock to play, and that's why we want to represent our university. And dressing room after the game is humiliating for us to represent our university the way we represent them Saturday, and that'll get fixed.